All right, welcome back to your viewers. I got a short video for you today. I'm going to be talking about this book, The Altar of Madness by James Raggi. Interesting design. I actually got this in conjunction with the other one that he wrote for this most recent release, The Music of Eric Zahn in the slipcase. I'll be doing the music of Eric Zahn in a separate video, but I I can't get into too many details with this one because it'll be too much of a spoiler. But I have a particular opinion about this book that I think, well, runs contrary to some of the stuff I've seen, by others. But before we get into that, a couple of things. Number one, this is what my channel does. I like to talk about indie games. I like to play indie games and review them. So this is something that you find interesting. Please hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Also, this is Wretched Folklore, one of my few handful of written work out there in the wild. I wrote it for the Red Room's Wretched Country. It also contains some stuff that you can even use in the Wretched Epoch game. Both are like 19th century Wild West Paris, But in this, you got psychic spiritualists, monsters derived from Native American folklore and some European folklore, steampunk rules, shaman rituals, things like that. Particularly proud of it, and RPG Pundit himself gave it some praise, and I really appreciate that, Pundit. Thank you very much. So you can find physical copy at lulu.com for print on demand, and for the PDF, you can get it at itch.io. Links will be in the description. With that said, why don't we get started? So, what is the Altar of Madness? Well, I'm just going to read from the back of the book here. It is the final resting place of the mythical first wizard, and it has been found. Rejoice, for of course he was interred with a splendid variety of magical treasures ripe for the taking. You are so fucked. And that is a rather succinct explanation of what this is. The Altar of Madness is literally a one-room dungeon. It's like a circle, 200 feet in diameter, and that you can place anywhere. It moves throughout the multiverse, so you can pop it in anywhere and any place. And it is just filled with craziness that will confound your players in terms of like how to manage the obstacles, the magical traps, and the weird things that can happen. And this giant spherical room, contains what you see right here in the table of contents: a fountain, a dimensional portal, a statue, a carved spell like on a wall, eyeball in a jar, a prisoner, a mirror, the first sarcophagus, the second sarcophagus, glass treasure chest, a starry mural, the first wizard himself, the Altar of Madness, and the Keystone. I'm going to flip through the PDF here so you can take a look, but I'm not going to focus too much on it because each one of these is, I don't want to say a trap. Well, it is kind of a trap. Like, there's stuff that's happening, and like your players have to be very careful on how they interact with it. It's typical Lamentations of the Flame Princess. This game design that's designed to confound your players and really push the limits of creative play. Like, you can't just like blunder into this stuff and survive. The room, like I said, is a circle about 200 feet in diameter with like a lip, like a ledge that you can walk around, and that's where you're going to get to like the first, second sarcophagus, the prisoner, the eyeball in a jar, and a few other things. And then it dips down and to like this, like 4 feet, I think it is, and it's just filled with this like mist that if you spend any amount of time in there, you can, bad things are going to happen, including like a Kawato type creature growing out of your character's gut. If you remember from the original, I think it's just referring to the original Total Recall. Some creature coming out of the dude's chest. Anyway, weird stuff. Weird stuff. The the art in this, the illustrations are actually really good. I really like the black and white, kind of like that stark contrast. It's kind of reminiscent of like what Shadow Dark does. And I know James just loves Shadow Dark. But again, like weird things like that will happen when you interact. Like this is the fountain, and you have like this oily substance that's in it. And then you have, I really actually like the portal, the dimensional portal, because the players can go in it and stuff will happen. And you have like these random tables to kind of determine what's going to happen, which is really cool too, because it's going to be different every time someone plays with this book. The statue, I don't think we have there's no illustration for that. The carved spell's kind of cool because it's like on the wall, and you can put it into your spell book, and you got a new spell that you can utilize, but you got to be careful. I'm just going to say that. You just got to be careful. The eyeball in the jar. When I first saw this, I was like, did he get like a preview of the new Alien movie or a show? Because there's like it attacks. I don't know how he figured that one out. Of course, someone might drink the liquid that's in the jar. I don't know why they would do that, but that's an option. The prisoner is another little challenge for the players. Then you have the mirror, and as you can see, it'll have some interesting stuff going on about it. First sarcophagus and the second sarcophagus have some stuff in there. Again, some treasures, things to make this entire experience worthwhile. The glass treasure chest in particular, I really like, because there's players flat out see what's inside, and so they're going to want to get in it. You know, how are they going to get in it? You know, Starry Mural is kind of a fun. I should say kind of. It's a fun little obstacle puzzle of sorts for allow the players to kind of like interact with it, with all kinds of cool things that happen. And what would happen if you take one of the stars off of it? I'm flipping through. Yeah, there's a lot here. Keep going. Okay, the first wizard, it's his corpse, and there's some stuff on him and things that the players can grab. Then there's of course the Altar of Madness itself. You can see there's a lot of randomness here. Okay, that's why I'm kind of flipping through here. The Altar of Deviancy, and here we go. Here's a nice little image with all the weird gas. You got the keystone, which is in the altar, and then that is it. So again, I don't want to get into too many details, but you can see with all of the tables there is a lot of randomness, which makes it kind of fun for you, the game master, to just sort of see what's going to happen. This will be a very challenging room for the players to deal with, okay? Because there's just all this stuff that's in it, and you have to deal with this poison, weird, cursed gas that's in the place on top of whatever's going on at these various locations. The PDF, for some reason, the one that I got does not have the map in it. It's in the book, though. I'm sure that'll get fixed because these just got released. But and you can pop this anywhere. I actually think this is more useful as something to pull from. And this is where I kind of differ from some of the criticisms and reviews on this book that I've seen thus far. Because as it stands, it's literally a one-room dungeon of sorts that you were supposed to tack onto another dungeon, and you can do that, and I'm sure it'll be like this really weird and funky experience for your players. But I think this has more use, will be more useful as sort of like a resource to draw from. So right as you can see, you have a bunch of obstacles that you can just drop into a dungeon or a dungeon room if you're designing something. Okay, and it doesn't even need to be, and some of these can be redone just by simply picking something from the table. So like instead of like this cursed mist, like you could put that in your own dungeon, right? And instead of making it an entirely random thing to happen like it's presenting here, you can just pick one and be like, in this room this mist does this. So to me, this is a resource that to help you with your own dungeon design. Let's see what same thing with the portal. You might not want to break that up, but let's see, where's the one that had all, yeah, here it is. So you have like the eyeball in a jar, like it's got all the stuff that it can do. Where is it? The starry mural, like you could totally draw a bunch of ideas from, and just use this as like a toolkit to put in weird and random traps and obstacles and magical effects, as opposed to just using it as this like room in a dungeon. And to me, that is the actual value of this book. But I will say, putting together a one-room dungeon and selling it as is, like the way it is, I think takes balls. I just do. But it's interesting, and that's the key thing here. There's a lot that you can pull from and use outside. Look at this. This art is really good. But yeah, you can use it outside of the product itself and put it into your own dungeon. Interior art, Jacob Farrell. Of course, Kelvin Green did the cover sigil, and that looks. And Glenn Seal did the map. Yeah, of course, this looks like an erect penis. Thank you, James. So yeah, I like this book. I think it's cool. I think it's worth picking up, even though it's like an oddity of sorts. It's just as something, like if you're just stuck for ideas, there's just a bunch of stuff in here that you can use. So I think it's worth picking up, and I'm glad I did. So that's all I got for now, folks. Next one will be music of Erica Zahn, and then I'm going to do the Nebulith, and that one I might take my time with. That might be a couple videos. So anyway, again, hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Until next time, catch you later.